Welcome to the first episode of the Neet Bherwani show. With me, I'm having here Nawfa Nurie, who's joining me. Nawfa, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, Nawfa, let's get started. Have you ever been in a podcast before?
No, actually, I haven't. This is my first, so it's very exciting.
Perfect. And neither have I had like a proper podcast. This is going to be the first podcast we do. So we both are starting off on a new journey over here.
Yeah.
We both haven't discussed what is going to be in this podcast.
That's true. I have no idea questions coming my way today, but let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be completely random for all of you guys, and let's see how we can get started. So, Nawfa, I came across you on TikTok first.
Right.
Correct? I found you on TikTok, and I think you have around, how many followers? You have 300, 400K?
437. Yeah.
Correct. And how many do you have on Instagram?
Around 244 or 45.
How long have you been doing this, Nawfa, from your...
So on Instagram, it's been 7 years actually.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long time. And
Okay.
I had different phases. I started off with fashion, which is something that I've always been very interested in. So when I used to go to university, I used to put different looks together. And I studied my university in Mumbai. So the fashion scene there compared to here where I grew up in the UAE is very different. So
Right.
I explored a lot of different colors and things like that. So it was really exciting for me.
Okay.
So that's how I started off.
Okay.
And then I had a journey of my own, Then I started doing, I did skincare, then I did tech even, and then eventually I moved into travel, which is where I found my, my peace, I would say. I love to travel, and that is where I'm seeing most of my content moving towards in the near future.
Perfect. Great to know. So what a journey from fashion all the way to travel. So this is where you've settled in right now, correct?
Right now, yes.
Perfect. Okay. How many countries have you traveled in so far?
So we actually just calculated the other day. It's been 16 so far, but inshallah, I'm hoping it would be around 20 by January.
Perfect. Oh, 16 is a lot of countries. And are you including UAE within that?
Yes. It's all the countries that I've been to.
But you're excluding India for
No.
sure. You're including India as well?
It's on the map. So
Okay.
I'm talking about the countries. on
You
the
have
map.
been to physically. Perfect. Which is the best country you've visited so far?
It's very tough to pick just one because every country has such a unique, experience and such uniqueness to offer. But I can pick a few. I would say Jordan for me. It was one of the most incredible places I've been to. It has so much history. The people were so nice. The people were really so good. And we just went there for 4 days, But in 4 days, the amount that we were able to capture from the country was immense. So I would say Jordan is one of my top, and Bali, of course, because I feel like nobody is as welcoming in terms of, the people around as Bali. They're so hospitable, and the resorts are beautiful, and the country is beautiful overall. So so Bali is really nice, and Montenegro as well. Now the thing is, I haven't seen much of Europe. I've just seen Serbia and Montenegro. Maybe the rest of Europe is also very beautiful, and I might change my thoughts in the future. But for now, I think Montenegro is one of the top places. It's like, the whole country is just around like one hill sort of a thing. So you can just drive up and down quite easily, and it's just by the coast, So the water really makes me happy.
Perfect. And what is your upcoming location? Where are you thinking of going next?
So I can name a few because usually we have this thing that when I travel somewhere, we don't really disclose it before we travel. It's always a secret. Even to my family for that matter. We'll just be like, okay, we're going somewhere. And they've stopped asking us now. They'll be like, okay, fine, we'll just see your stories. That's a thing that we do.
So
Watch
your
our
family
stories.
finds out after you've gone to the place.
Yeah.
So you don't even tell them on the day you're leaving.
No. Not even our friends sometimes don't even know that we're traveling.
But why is that?
I don't know. It's just been like that since the beginning. I don't know. Now it's just become a...
But doesn't it drive your family crazy? I want to know where my daughter is going. Is she safe? Is she not?
No, I think over a period of time, after the countries that we've been to, they have kind of built that trust that, okay, she knows where she's going, what she's doing.
Got it.
Sort of a thing, yeah.
Got it. But initially when you started doing this, you would have gotten some backlash from your family.
Yeah. In the beginning, my first country that I went to by myself, other than India and UAE, was Georgia, actually.
Oh, wow.
So it was, my friend made a joke that time. She said Georgia is like the new Karama. Everybody gets up and goes there. So people kind of had an idea what's happening.
Right.
And I'd taken a tour package. I'd gone with a holiday factory. And I was really not happy about it. It wasn't a great experience, and I wasn't able to explore a lot also compared to what I would do if I went on my own, because I make my own itineraries. I decide my own dates, I decide my own hotel. So I like to have the control to want to see and be able to see everything that I want to. So I would say it was not that great of an experience, but also it was my first international by myself. So it was really nice.
First solo trip.
It wasn't solo.
Okay.
I went with my then boyfriend, now husband.
Okay, perfect. Glad to know that. And why do you say it wasn't so great? Like, you're saying that you're someone who makes your own thing, right? Your own itinerary.
Yes.
What does planning your own itinerary do versus, like, say, by going with what a holiday factory would give you?
That would be really funny. Like, if I could ever get my friends to do bits and tell their experience, because sometimes, so Montenegro and Serbia, I went with my friends and I made the itinerary, and they would not joke. It's quite true. I don't account for lunch and dinner and this. I was like, okay, since the time at sunrise till sunset, we must be on the road. We must visit all the places, because for me, my itineraries are content prioritizing. So it's always about, I want to see, these are the places in this location. I want to make sure that we hit all of them in the day so I can get my content from each of these places. So because of that, my itineraries are very packed, and you wouldn't get that in a holiday factory. Also, I feel that they miss out on a lot of things that the country has to offer. It's just upar se, just the places that the touristy spots, that you should go. It doesn't really immerse you in the place itself.
Right.
That's what I felt when I went to Bali. I went for 14 days.
Okay.
And I hit at least, I would say, 7 to 8 different spots, and in all of those places, I made it a point to spend like 2 or 3 days, because I just didn't want to go to the famous temples and that's it.
Got it.
There's so much more that you can do there. So it's actually a very intense process when I'm planning my itineraries. It's very detailed.
Got it.
I also invest a lot of time in my wardrobe for the places. So you can imagine, how would it be? Basically, I'd be like, okay, for example, if day one I'm in Ubud, it's a rice field, it's green. So I should wear something like a yellow or a white.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so every spot that I'll go to, I'll have an outfit planned for it.
Wow.
So I'll probably have like 4 outfits in a day based on all the locations that I'm going to. So it's a very big process. Yeah, like all the pictures, I'm sure that a lot of people put in that much planning and stuff like that. So all the pictures that you see is actually pre-planned. It's actually directed and stuff like that.
That's crazy. The amount of hard work, the planning and stuff you have to do. So say for a trip like you're going to Australia. Okay. Right. Say we're supposed to go to Australia in like 7 days. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How much time and effort is needed to get an entire 10-day trip planned, like from your end? Like say, Nawfa, you got here 2 tickets to Australia, flying now.
A lot. So if it's an impromptu trip, you can't do that much. You can't do all of the homework and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, to say I'm going to, inshallah, I'll be going to 1, 2, 3, 4 countries in December. Like end of November to December.
Wow.
So it's like so many different cultures, there's so much diversity, and there's just all these countries have such different things to offer. Now to be able to, it's also very confusing if you're planning all of these together. Like, you'd be like, okay, yahan pe I need this, there I need that, and stuff like that. So it can get a bit intense, but also I find it the most exciting part. Like, I'll give you an example. So every time, so my birthday is on the 27th. I'd be most excited for 26th because it's the birthday eve. I'm going to step into my birthday. So I think of this as the same thing, like planning is actually equally exciting. It can get a bit exhausting sometimes, but it's all very exciting.
Perfect. Nawfa, I think you're an inspiration to many travel vloggers out there. Many of them would have definitely reached out to you how you shoot this content. And I think what you're telling right now is a good behind the scenes of what is needed.
I've never spoken about the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So behind the scenes in terms of wardrobe planning, picture planning, keeping a whole day needed, like, what outfit you're going to wear based on what. This is amazing. Like, so Nawfa, like, what would be the top 3 tips you would give for someone who wants to do something similar to what you're doing?
The first thing that I think is not really a tip, like, you really have to be into traveling. Like I've met a lot of people who just want to, like everybody's doing it, so let me also do it kind of thing. But you have to really be passionate about it, and you have to make sure that your commitments are in place, because if you're traveling most of the times, it could have an effect in your friendships, and it really depends. So if you know that this is what you want to do this way, because it takes a lot of hard work. It's not how you see, it's not roses. Obviously, if you like to travel, it's a blessing and you love being to different countries, but I don't think a lot of people realize the kind of amount amount of work that goes into traveling, and because it's not a holiday. If you're a creator, it's double the work actually, while you're there. So first would be the mindset, like, prepare yourself. This is what you're getting into, sort of a thing. And other than that, like, I would say really for me, itineraries are really, really important. Read reviews, read other people, watch other YouTube videos that the places that you're going to and stuff. So you should really know the pros and cons, because kind of every country has their own, There are a lot of scams, like in Bali even. There are a lot of scams where people do in terms of exchanging money. Like, I've read and heard so much about that. So you have to prepare yourself really about the safety regulations and, the popular scams in the areas you shouldn't go to, because truly almost every place has its
So you're
own.
saying like the second point is do a lot of research from your
You
end.
should
Got it.
do research.
Okay.
And now you mean in terms of content, what tips could I give them? Or
Yes, in terms of content as well as planning, like planning out their entire
Right.
journey. So
I would say, if you, like I said, many a times I make very packed itineraries, but it's not advisable, because see, why I have done that in the past, because sometimes I've traveled for 3 or 4 days, Eid holidays, so we find a break, and now we're like, okay, fine, I'm going to Jordan for 4 days. I probably might not go there again, so I want to kind of get as much as I can from there. So it can get really exhausting. So, prepare. Don't, like, for me, my priority is because I want to cover all the spots and take all the pictures. It's not necessary. You can pick your top favorites. So you can try to also mix relaxation, in your trip, which I have kind of started focusing on now. So now I'm trying to take, okay, it's no worries if I'm going for 4 days. I explore 3 days. One day maybe I just hit the spa. I just relax. I just go to the beach. I just sit and read. So I think balance is really important, as with everything.
thank you so much for sharing that. Also, let's go slightly on the content piece
Yeah.
of things. Okay. How many pieces of content do you put on a monthly basis on your TikTok and Instagram?
So Instagram, I try one daily.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and sometimes I do post 2. Rarely I've posted even 3 in a day. So I would say on an average, if I take my average number, it would be at least 30, because once in a while, very rarely, I miss putting a post. Like yesterday, I didn't put a post. So I feel guilty, actually, that's another thing. I have so much content with me because I've been to all of these places and I've
Right.
not posted everything. But then I think, should I just randomly keep on posting some Purana, travel photo that I have? Sometimes
Right.
it makes sense, but sometimes I just don't want to do that. I want to put fresher content. So I took a break yesterday. So that guilt creeps in sometimes. You must put one every day.
Correct.
But then I think of it. I think of it that sometimes I do put 2 a day, whereas my target is 1 a day.
Got
so
it.
on an average, I think 30 a month I do.
Wow. And you've been doing this for 7 years, correct?
Yes.
So Nawfa, if I do a little bit of back calculation on what you've told me,
Yeah.
7 years, 30 pieces of content a month,
Yeah.
12 times, that's basically 360 pieces of content a year.
Yeah.
So I think, have you posted more than 1,500
Yeah.
pieces of content?
I'm more than 1,600.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
and the
And
same
I've tried
piece.
to follow this since the beginning, since I started.
And it's very tough putting out one piece of content. That itself requires a lot of planning.
Right, before, since it was just pictures, obviously it consumed lesser time. It's not like pictures are easy, I'm not saying that, but it takes lesser time to shoot a picture than
Right.
a reel today.
Absolutely.
So today, to catch up with the reels and still put out 1 a day, it is challenging, to be
Absolutely.
honest.
Absolutely.
And especially in a country like UAE where it's hot more than half of the time. What do you do? So many times, again, I do this for my content as well. In winters, I plan to shoot more than I would kind of post in winters. So I can at least use it for a while.
Perfect. So you're preparing content for the future. You have
Yes.
everything scripted. So guys, that's what it takes. If you're watching right now, it's not simple to get 400K followers. Like imagine uploading 1,500 pieces of content out there. Most people, when they start uploading content, they expect to start seeing results immediately. It's not going to happen in the 4th time. Not going to happen in the 10th time. Nawfa, when did you start seeing results from your end? When did that spike come for you?
If I talk about how and how the process and the journey was in the beginning, I'll tell you. In the beginning, I used to wear my own clothes and I used to kind of style it and kind of try to give a different perspective as to how you can, style yourself and things like that. And then I used to wear my brother's clothes and things like that, because you need stuff,
Right.
after one point in time. And then I have a sister, so alhamdulillah, I'm blessed with a big family, so it's good for the borrowing. And then I used to kind of think how I can add value to people as to how they can dress. I would say the first year I was just fashion, so it was very different. And then I was hosting this show in Abu Dhabi. It's like a game show on a mobile app. So for that I would have to wear one outfit a day, different outfit every day. So I used to try to shoot those outfits again for this, and that was in Abu Dhabi. So I used to work in Dubai, and I used to work in Dubai 9 to 6. I used to drive to Abu Dhabi. I used to reach there by 7:30. 9 o'clock was my show live for 15 minutes. And then I used to drive back to Dubai, and I used to get here by 11:30, 12. And this was every day for 8 months.
Wow, okay.
And in the middle of this also, I'm proud to say I didn't sacrifice on content. I still posted every day. So what I did, on the weekends, sometimes I would stay back in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
And I would try to, and I paid for these things. I used to book hotels with pretty locations and, nice poolside area. So I could use those hotels and not waste my time over the weekend. And I have done this before, that I've shot for the whole week on the weekend in Abu Dhabi while I paid for the hotels and while I wasn't getting paid from the brands, because I had to put content.
Initially, investment from your own end is absolutely needed. Nawfa, it's very tough. I personally have tried uploading a piece of content every day, and it drove me nuts. I'm not even kidding over here. There are very few pieces of people who can kind of manage this thing. So what I want to know is, like, what is a day in the life of Nawfa look like? Can you walk us through your day? Like, from the moment you get up, from the moment you sleep, how does it go? Like, how do you manage all that stuff? Because I'm very interested in I see you as a very productive person.
I would like to believe so, but sometimes lately I have been lazy, but I'm trying to get back. And that hits when it comes to my fitness.
Got it.
Because I don't go to the gym because, you have to equally prioritize everything. That's one tip I'd like to give people, First of all, when you get into content creation, you have to be entirely passionate about it. Otherwise, I have seen so many influencers who started off with Instagram, but then, over 1, 2, 3 years, they completely left it. Because, other things can get into the way, other commitments. You have to really like doing what you do, because, again, like I said, it's a lot of hard work.
Correct.
Plus, when it comes to TikTok and Instagram, it's completely different audiences. So you have to really understand and possibly put out different content for both. So for me, in the morning, I wake up, say, around 9 o'clock, because my work starts at 10. So I work 10 to 7. And I work in an IT company. I'm into marketing and branding. So most of my team is actually not in the UAE. So my designers and stuff are in India, and other part of them is in Canada. So we kind of remotely work mainly on the projects that we have. So with that, I kind of shuffle around my day based on how much I have on my plate when it comes to work, because I am working a full-time job. That's another thing most people don't know.
Right.
Like my husband's family, they used to always think that I'm a
full-time influencer. Got it. So, Instagrammer, TikToker, full-time,
So people don't really know that. So based on that, then again, Sometimes I used to go live during my lunch break. I was like, why should we waste lunch break? So this live is what I'm talking about on TikTok. So
got it. Live streaming. Got it.
Yeah, a big part of TikTok, as you know.
Right.
So I started doing that. I was like, okay, I can't waste time. When am I going to go live? I'm busy. So I started going live during my lunch hours.
Okay.
I started shooting videos during my lunch hours at home. So I started doing some, I got this set up for myself with like a black,
black screen, paper, black paper. Got it.
I started shooting at home. And and I do all of this, most of this alone. My husband's been very helpful throughout my journey. Since the time that I started, since day one, he's been there and he's been doing a lot of my shoots. So when I say that we go outdoors, in that heat, he's actually the one taking all of the pictures.
Oh, so he's the backbone that you have from your end supporting you.
So you need that. Again,
absolutely.
You need somebody, because there's only so much you can do on your own. Like,
correct.
There are a lot of times when I take my tripod and I shoot because, he has to go to work also, but my work cannot stop because of that.
Correct.
So I do that by myself also, but it's very difficult to be able to do that just by yourself all the time. You need people. I've taken help from my younger brother once in a while, and it's that's been a different journey as well. So since when I started 7 years ago, he was maybe like 15 or so. So there's a lot of bribing involved. I'd be like, okay, I'll take you here. Can you take me some pictures? So there are different aspects to it.
And what about with your husband? Like, is there some kind of bribe or some aspect that needed, or he's just passionate about?
I think while shooting with me, I think he found his passion as well. So he's also a travel content creator now. Wasn't so when I started 7 years ago and I was doing fashion, he didn't relate to it. But once we started traveling quite frequently, he really related to that part of it. And I've given him all the experience of shooting for me. So he was happy to create travel.
I've seen some amazing pieces of content from Shaz, your husband. And I think he creates content around a lot of visual pieces of content, right? Like I think he uses a drone also from his end.
Yes, oh God, I'm so terrible at the drone. So the thing is, we took the drone and we said, okay, when we travel international, we'll take each other's footage, and things like that. So he got a license, the drone pilot license.
How long does it take to get a license from?
I didn't even do it, so I have no idea. I didn't know the process. So he's quite good at it. Again, I would say it's not like we don't really take classes or something. We watch some videos and then we learn on the go kind of a thing. So with every flight that his drone takes, I can see the improvement. I can see everything that he's learned. And while I'm pathetic at it, so it's like always my footage is good thanks to him, but his footage, either I'm there somewhere in the corner and I'm visible, or he has to take it himself. So he's holding the remote.
Right. But initially, before Shaz came in, it was all you shooting it with your tripod, and eventually
Shaz has been there since
from
day
the
one.
start.
Yeah. So we've dated for about 7 years, and that is when I started
your content.
The year that we started dating. Just a few months later, I started.
And did the inspiration come from him, or was it you?
No, not him.
Okay, got it.
So in the beginning, like I said, I was so interested in fashion. I used to do a lot of modeling.
Got it.
So I had a few photographers who actually told me, they said that, these days brands are preferring to work with influencers because obviously they can get the exposure on the social platforms as well as get the model. And I was so confused, to be honest. It was such a new term. I had no idea. And I just let it be. I didn't even sleep over the thought. I said,
absolutely.
I didn't pay any attention to it. And then it took me a year and a half, and I started realizing what they meant. And I was like, you know what? I am a model and I do love fashion. Why don't I do this? Why don't I talk about it and share about it? And that's how it actually started.
Correct. And it's actually perfect, right? Like even when we look back right now, earlier when we look at mobile phone, internet has played a huge part of what we are doing right now. Earlier when we were in 3G, 2G, like uploading a photo would take so much time. Now a photo can be done so quickly.
I remember the days then we had 1 or 2 songs on our phone and we had to choose which is the one song that we really like for it to be on our
Correct. And then, 4G happened. That's when video started coming. And now you're live streaming thanks to 5G and fast Wi-Fi speeds. I think we are keeping up with the trends for now. Now, what do you see is the future of content creation? You have been here for a very long time. What is that one field that you want to focus in right now, which you think is stepping up in the future from your end?
I would like to say, obviously, Instagram has been my main since the time I started. I started my TikTok maybe 3 years ago, but I was so inactive. I used to post that time it was only lip syncs and stuff like that. I was not too much into that. But, for it to be a new platform and for me to kind of have an audience there, I kind of started doing that. But again, TikTok has completely changed now. It's not anymore, for creators at least, it's not anymore about lip syncs and stuff. There's so much amazing stuff happening there. The growth that I have seen in TikTok over the last 1 year has been immense, and as of where I'm seeing, I really want to focus on
TikTok
as well. Yeah, I now want to let go of my Instagram because it's I know everybody who follows me. I've built that kind of a community.
Got it.
But I really, really think TikTok is a very good place to focus.
And I've recently seen you taking an active interest in live streaming as well.
Yes. So that is another story. So when I started live streaming a year and a half ago, I was very regular for 1 hour a day.
Okay.
Like how it's for my Instagram, 30 posts a month. I had made up my mind I will go live every day, 1 hour, and that's it. I won't sit beyond that, but I will commit to that 1 hour.
Got it.
So I started doing that, and I would do that. Even if I'm out with my friends or family, 10 o'clock was my time to go live, and I'd be like, I'm going back home. I gotta go live. And my sister was like, "Are you crazy?" And I was like,
Enjoy
what?
the moment. You're here with family.
But what I try to make her understand, it's a commitment.
Right.
You don't break. It's a discipline. So I used to do that. So I would say 5 to 6 months I did that, and then I got married, and then I traveled so much, and then I was just like, it's different.
Got it.
So I would say the first 6 months of this year, I was very inactive. I'd go live whenever I had the time, and I don't know why, I just left it behind. Then after 6 months, I suddenly had a wake up call. I was like, my God, my followers are not growing as it used to when I used to go live. My views are not as much as when I used to go live, and plus obviously there's a reward associated with live as well. So you feel like you can do that and can get all of these things, but again, it's also very tough.
Absolutely.
It's not like you just go live, you sit and you get all of these things.
Right.
So yeah, there's hard work involved.
So Nawfa, right now you're doing 1 hour live streaming daily.
3 hours. I've been started with 3 hours from the last 1 month.
Okay, 3 hours every day. 3 hours per day.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, and one piece of content daily.
Yes, on Instagram, and I try for TikTok as well, and usually it's different.
Got it.
Same. I'm also a hypnotherapist, so I'm a certified hypnotherapist. So I do a few sessions, mostly on Zoom. So I didn't actually answer that question. What do I do in a day?
Right.
So let me go back to that.
Okay.
One. So after wake up, I start work at around 10, and then during the first hours of the morning, I used to read a lot before, and I stopped that now because there's no time. Okay, so I try to incorporate like a little bit of reading. I used to journal before, which I've stopped. So a few things that I've stopped, which are the downside, which I used to journal before. I used to wake up at 5 and go for runs. I used to meditate, and all of this is not happening anymore.
Right.
Because there is just no time. Because if I'm live 3 hours a day, is usually night time. So
Correct.
I wake up later, and then I'm not able to do so many of these other things. So then in my lunchtime, either I shoot something or I go live sometimes, and then till 7 o'clock it's mostly work. And there's a lot of business development involved also in like your Instagram. It's also business management.
Absolutely.
Your emails to reply to, your messages to reply to, your followers to answer to.
Reply back to their comments and DMs and everything.
So that basically runs most part of my day till like 7 or 8.
Got it.
And 3 or 4 times a week I cook, So
So where do you do where does the food come from then? The 3-4 times the remaining, did you order out?
Extra, and I order a lot from outside for myself.
Got it.
I love to have chai, and I don't like to make chai, so I'm always ordering from outside.
Got it.
So in the time after my work, I usually cook. Sometimes I go to the gym, but it's also very inconsistent because of the other stuff that I have to do during the day. And then 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is my time to go live. So I do that 3 hours. Now, in the middle of all this, not every day, but a few days, I used to make YouTube videos for self-development as a part of my learning process while I was doing the hypnotherapy course. So we had a topic in that course. It was called Rules of the Mind, which really fascinated me, like really how, your mind works. Like there's one thing in that where they say that your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. Mm-hmm. So if you're feeling really sad, okay, try to think of something that you're very grateful for, and your mental attitude actually immediately switches. So I started making a lot of content out of my learnings on YouTube, and then I stopped that also because no time.
Got it. But these are like other passions that you have also that you want to pursue simultaneously.
So I think that's another thing that I want to do eventually, that I want to get into that space where I talk about self-development and things related to neuroscience and things like that in the future, hopefully.
Got it.
And YouTube for that one. I hope. Or maybe a podcast.
We may soon see the Nawfa Nurie show. Who knows? All right.
Maybe the next time you can have me on, we can talk about those.
I think we should definitely. I think one episode is not enough to explore into that side of things. The next episode, we can definitely talk about the mind, the neuroscience of things,
Guys, it's going to
hypnotherapy.
be a part 3 series. 1, 2, 3. This is just one.
Yes. All right. So just to conclude things, Nawfa, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I'm sure the viewers got an understanding of what it takes to be a lifestyle content creator, going around, traveling places, planning things. We got to look at your life. We saw how many things you have going on. We see what kind of impact that's having on your friends and family. Like you making a commitment, doing it, posting one piece of content daily, you posting 1,500 pieces of content, which, my God, it's a lot. And I have nothing but respect for you. And it's incredible. I think whatever growth you have gotten so far, you absolutely deserve it. And more growth to you. For me, I hope your Instagram shoots up soon and one day you're verified.
Thank you. I hope the same with your show. I just have a few things to say to sum it up from my end as well. I think at the end of everything, follow your passion. That's the most important. Social media is an amazing place.
Right.
It can give you a lot of opportunities, but on the other hand, it does, have a side where it can have an impact on your mental health as well. So
Absolutely.
please practice mindfulness and really follow your passion. Social media has made people reach to immense heights, and it's really good. So if that's something you're interested in, then go for it. But the main thing to always remember is discipline. Discipline is the only thing that will take you to places in the long run.
You can only be motivated so much, right? But doing something despite not feeling it, that's when you grow.
That's the most important.
All right. Thank you so much, Nawfa. Pleasure having you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, guys.